This week,
Oh, this cunt again. Yay?
14-year-old Ahmed Mohammed
Oh good god, this incident. I realize this is an older video, but I'm gonna go over it anyway because fuck you, that's why.
left his high school in handcuffs after his English teacher mistook his homemade clock for a bomb. Yikes.
Alright, first of all, I need to make the look of this clock very clear. The visuals are important. It was not just a clock. It was a clock specifically designed to look like a bomb, put in a briefcase. Tell me that doesn't look like a bomb.
But this isn't an isolated incident. Islamophobia happens all over the United States and around the world.
It's justified, and I gave in-depth reasoning in a previous video. But let's hear your arguments despite this.
Ahmed's story is just another reminder of how difficult life is for Muslim Americans post 9/11.
You deserve it for supporting a book like the Quran and promoting its ideas. I don't give a shit if a potential threat like Muslims are having a hard time, or if people look at them, because their ideologies are causing a lot of fucking problems here.
Few reports show that 1 in 3 Muslim Americans are singled out for TSA screenings every year.
You know why? It's because Muslims are a drastically higher threat than any other group of people, in a terrorism sense at least. Don't you think we should adjust the amount of TSA screenings given to them based on statistics?
And according to the ACLU, Muslim women in the US are more likely to encounter discrimination if they wear a hijab.
Discrimination? That's such a vague term. Care to elaborate? Guess not.
Would Ahmed's homemade clock been seen as a bomb if his name was Adam? Probably not. Across the country and around the world, too many people assume that Muslims are automatically worthy of suspicion or inherently dangerous.
The fucking ideology is inherently dangerous, you fucking moron. They are worthy of suspicion as they devote their lives to a book that says kill everyone who doesn't agree with you.
So let's go ahead and knock that stereotype flat on its face. Here are 4 reasons that you don't need to be afraid of Muslims.
Great, let's hear this.
Islam is the world's second largest religion. In 2010, they made up 23% of the world's population. So if they were really all bomb-making terrorists, we'd be in big trouble. But they're not, which is why we're all fine.
No, just because not all of them are bomb-making terrorists doesn't mean none of them are, and statistically, over 20% of Muslims are radicalized. So if I said 20% of all dogs, that's 1 in 5 for all you dense motherfuckers like MTV Decoded. So if I said 1 in 5 dogs have rabies, wouldn't you avoid dogs or at least be suspicious of them? Doesn't that make sense?
Islam is a peaceful religion. It's not full of terrorists like TV and movies will have you believe.
You're so demonstrably wrong, it's unbelievable. It is full of terrorists. A huge portion of them are terrorists, and it isn't a peaceful religion when it tells you to murder any polytheist or atheist or any monotheist that isn't Muslim unless they pay a fine, and of course they kill the faggots.
The word Islam means surrender, and it's related to the Arabic word for peace.
I don't care. Does that automatically make it peaceful? If I call a gun harmless, that doesn't change the facts.
You've also probably heard jihad thrown around in the news, but it's 100% not about violence. It doesn't mean holy war, it actually means struggle, as in it can be a struggle to stay true to your religious beliefs and do the right thing.
Okay, that may be true, but are you denying the fact that many Muslims are trying to go to war due to the religion? Because if you are, you're just wrong. And actually, upon further research, Dictionary.com defines it as a holy war, and Oxford defines it as a struggle against unbelievers. That sounds pretty fucking dangerous.
Jihad absolutely is not about going to war with other religions, and anyone who says otherwise is just wrong. Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS don't represent all Muslims.
No, they don't, but they do a lot of them.
The same way the Westboro Baptist Church, who angrily pickets gay weddings and funerals, doesn't represent all Christians.
I have no issue with the Westboro Baptist Church. Well, I do, but no legal issue because they remain in legal boundaries. They aren't violent. Over 20% of Muslims are.
There are extremists in every religion. You can't judge the whole group by the bad actions of a few.
But I can judge the whole group by the bad commands in their book, right? The radical book that inspires radicals, it is followed by all of them? I can judge that, right?
Since September 11th, more people have been killed in the US by white supremacists, anti-government fanatics, and other non-Muslim groups compared to Muslim extremists.
I like how you completely disregard the biggest terrorist event ever in the US because it might change your statistics, and you're disregarding the countless amount of Muslim-caused deaths by people outside the US, including Paris.
So this fear of Muslim terrorist threat here in the US is kind of irrational.
The truth of the matter is, Muslims obtain a very dangerous and bad ideology that should be diminished. In fact, it causes most of the world's conflict and violence. There's nothing wrong with judging someone based on their harmful ideologies.
Ahmed's story is so upsetting because even a scrawny 14-year-old kid who loves science can't escape the stigma that comes along with his name and religion.
Okay, it's very clear to me that Ahmed was in the wrong. He had a history of bad behavioral problems, his sister had a history of bomb threats, and apparently he was big on practical jokes. All these factors point to the fact that Ahmed purposefully made the clock look like a bomb in order to get a rise out of someone, just someone. This is a very self-aware kid, seems smart, seems aware of the Islam problem, and wants to exploit it. He wants to victimize himself like so many others here in America, including you.
There are almost 3 million American Muslims, each with their own stories and identities. They deserve to be seen as individuals instead of whatever stereotype you've seen on your TV screen.
I'm judging them on their most important and deeply held ideological ideas, which originate in their holy and sacred book. How's that fucking stereotyping? Seems pretty logical to me.